Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. Thank you so much for clicking the link to watch this video. Thank you guys. I'm talking with my hands again. I need to stop. So, I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video, but yeah, I've been having some bridesmaids drama. Let's just get it on right out there and get straight to the point. So this is the process within a wedding that I feel like people don't talk about, and rightfully so, because your bridesmaids are like your best friends. As you guys know, I was engaged August of 2017, so literally I'm engaged for a little bit over a year. And as soon as we found out, I think Lewis and I waited like maybe 2 months. Shout out to my BFF Ashley and also my bridesmaid for getting us these tumblers. These are actually really good ideas. So essentially what had happened was I picked a bridesmaid, and what should I name her? Janet. So Janet was my bridesmaid, and I selected a total of 10 bridesmaids. Yes, you heard that right, 10. And I know you're thinking, what the heck, Veronica? But Lewis and I could not, we had people that he wanted and I wanted, and then other things, and it just kind of grew from there. I feel like this is a wedding update that people don't really talk about, and they probably don't talk about it because obviously they don't want to ruin friendships with people, but I'm gonna keep it real with you guys because I feel like it's important to share it with you. But planning with girls is honestly a nightmare. Like, I love all my girls to death. We have been friends, some of them since middle school, high school, college, sorority sisters, Lewis's family, so they're now my family. Like, I love them to death, but man, is it so hard. I picked someone who, Janet, was not very supportive right off the bat. It wasn't that she wasn't supportive of my relationship with Lewis, but she wasn't supportive, like, of anything that I wanted. And weddings are expensive. Lewis and I are paying for our own wedding. We did get a lot of help from our parents, but we're paying a lot of it, most of it, from us, our pockets. So they're expensive. I'm getting married in LA. That's already a flight for almost every single one of my bridesmaids, except for 2 of them because they live there, but everyone else has to take a flight. Flights to LA though are surprisingly cheap because it's LA, it's a big airport, and it's just cheap. I wanted to have kind of like a separate bachelorette party because I didn't want to do a combined bachelorette because I felt like it would make that week crazy and it would just be too much. Well, Lewis and I, before we decided on LA, I don't know if I vlogged this, maybe I talked about it, I don't know. We were going to get married in Texas because Texas was half the distance from his family and half the distance of my family, and we felt like it was meeting in the middle. Texas didn't have any of the venues that I wanted or that he felt like. We had negative vibes. I felt like it was just negativity. We got in an argument, like it just wasn't good. So, and not an argument like, oh my gosh, we're hating each other, kind of like an argument like it just was nitpicky. So we decided to go with LA. All of this, fast forward, Janet, every time I post a text in the group text messages, she's just being so freaking negative. Like negative, negative, negative. I'm like, okay. And I've known this girl since college, and she's kind of always been that way. But I decided to pick her to be a bridesmaid. Not really as, it was like I wanted to believe in my heart that it was out of friendship, but I also felt like if I didn't pick her too, she would be very upset with me. Moving forward, so I decided to combine my bachelorette, my bridal shower, and the wedding all in 1 week because I want people to save money on flights. Flying out or driving to Texas was no big deal because a lot of my friends and sister are from Kansas, or they're not from Kansas. They're currently living in Kansas, going to college out there or working, and driving to Dallas is like 5 hours. It's nothing. We've done it so many times before. So there would only be a few people who had to get flights. And then I moved it to Vegas, but then after the shooting, I was like, maybe not. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to do it all within 1 week because I want my bridesmaids to save on money, and I don't want them to feel like they have to go out, purchase the flight in August or September, then turn around and fly back out to LA. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. I thought I was doing being a good bride or being a good bride and being self-conscious about my bridesmaids budget, making sure nothing's expensive, everyone's splitting everything, like you are gonna pay per person because it's gonna make everything cheaper. And then this person, Janet, she just, every single text message was negative, everything. She had a comment about everything, and one time she decided to be bold and post her comment in our group text. So someone said something to her like, hey, like, Veronica's being a good bride. She's actually thinking of us and not, you know, and that might be one downside too, is I think too much about other people and not about what I want, and then it makes me not as happy. So I have to remember this is the time where I can actually be selfish, and that's okay. And if they don't like it, then whatever. But I'm okay to be selfish because I've watched Bridezillas and I am so nowhere near that. I'm like a snowflake, okay? So like I was saying, so Janet decided to post something in our group text saying about money and all this other stuff and that people don't have careers like me and I make so much money or whatever she wanted to say, which if you Google military salary, which it is public knowledge, you can Google it right now, I don't make that much money, so I don't know where she got all of that from. Anyways, so while she decided to put me down, someone else decided to get her all the way correct, one of my bridesmaids. I think it was my maid of honor who said something to her. I don't know. One of them said something to her without me saying anything. So she decided to text me this long message about how she's never going to talk in the group text again. She's just gonna be silent and ignore, which if you're ever planning something and someone is silent in the group text all the time and not at least separately texting you, that is so annoying. So she decided to shut up and I was like, whatever. Then she decided to give me even more grief. So when the girls decided, hey, this is what we want to do, she again proceeds to text me about how expensive it is and how not everyone's made of money. Like, not once did she say, Veronica, I'm struggling, or congratulations, I'm not sure I can do this, can be a bridesmaid because I'm not financially where I need to be. And I got engaged in August, right? She told me that she's going to Ireland, so she may not be able to come to any of the bachelorette festivities, but she'll make it for the wedding. She had and I know her, I know Janet so well, she had no plans of even showing up for anything except for the wedding. And it really pissed me off, especially because I'm engaged a year and 3 months out, and you're telling me, she told me this in 2017, like, I want to say September, that she was planning a trip to Ireland, so she wasn't sure if she's going to make anything else except for that Ireland trip. But she is so frugal, it's so annoying being around her because everything is negative about money. Everything. No one's plans can have fun, and I've traveled with her before and she was one of the worst people I've ever traveled with. So you ask yourself, Veronica, why did you pick her as a bridesmaid? And I don't know, I guess I felt like, well, maybe this will bring us closer, or maybe she's changed, or maybe something's different, but nothing was different. She was just making everyone else miserable and annoying the heck out of everyone. So then proceeds, let me say, 2 more months, my maid of honor is talking about shoes and all this other stuff, and she's basically telling me, like, I need to pay for her shoes, her dress, her hair and makeup, essentially. I don't care what you guys say if you don't agree with me. Like, this is the real Veronica coming out. I'm always real, but I don't care if you guys don't agree with me. I'm not paying for your shoes, your dress, your hair, and your makeup as a bridesmaid. Like, no. If I was stupid rich, sure, no sweat. I wouldn't sweat it. I'd be like, cool, I got you. That's your gift. You're not getting anything else. But I'm not doing all that. And at the same time, I gave the girls the options to do their own hair, their own makeup. Their dress is like $150, which is super cheap for a bridesmaid's dress because both of my dresses have cost close to $200. And I tried to find the cheapest dress possible that still looked nice, and that was cheap, okay? So she tried to guilt trip me to pay for all her stuff. And I was like, nah, girl, like, I'm not doing that. So it didn't work. So I could tell she was getting annoyed with me. So essentially, I felt bad, right? So I felt bad and I was like, you know, I don't want to lose a friendship over this. So this is what I'm going to do. So having an even number was really important to me. We are not at an even number now. What I mean is our bridal party is even, excluding us. So now we're at an odd number. which was super important to me because for photos and everything, it just looks better, but whatever, who cares? It's really not that big of a deal now that I'm looking at it. So essentially I was like, you know, this sucks, but I'm going to go ahead and say this to her. I'm not going to give you guys every single thing because there are some things that I believe we should keep between she and I. I text her and I was like, hey, you keep bringing up financial stuff and every time I talk to you it's financial and you're always complaining. And I'm that blunt to her, and I think that's what she loves about me, because I will call her out and I won't think twice about it. I will call her out. So I say, you know, I don't mind if you're just going to be a guest instead of a bridesmaid, because that's why you ask the girls, okay? That's why you ask and you say, will you be my bridesmaids? It is okay to say no if you can't afford it. Like, if someone went on a destination wedding and I just knew in my heart, in my pockets, that I just couldn't make it happen, it would suck, it would hurt, but at least I was honest with my friend and I told her, instead of making her planning time miserable when this should be her happiest time. And I told her, I was like, I don't mind if you just want to be a guest and maybe you can help me like with things that we need during the day. Even though we have hired a wedding coordinator, she could help out somewhere, you know what I mean? Janet had the audacity. I'm clapping because y'all know. Okay, so Jesus had to keep me saved that day. She texted me after I poured my heart out to her and said, I would not come to your wedding if I was just a guest, LOL. I wouldn't fly all the way to LA. I was about to lose it, okay? So I took a screenshot of her text messages and my responses, and I sent it to my sister, and I can't remember who the other person was, but I sent it to both of them because I was like, let me get their perspective. So I said, hey, can you take a look at this conversation and let me know what you think? That's the only words I said because I didn't want to be biased, right? So my sister texted me back like real quick with the quickness and said, why is she so rude? I will curse out for you. I will curse her out for you because I know you don't cuss. I was like, thank you. I am not crazy. Because for a moment I was like, oh my gosh, did I say something? Like, is she for real telling me that after 6 or 7 years of friendship and us knowing each other for so long, that she wouldn't come to my wedding if I decided to have her just as a guest? Which, boo-boo, joke's on you. You were going to be just a guest most of the time anyways. And I also was hoping, it wasn't all bad, I was also hoping that, you know, this would help us bond together, and she's seen me at some of my moments, and we used to live together, so yeah, it makes sense. So, I don't know, and that was my mistake. I should have went with what my gut was telling me, which was, she is not there for you. She's not the right person, but I was like, you know what, whatever. She texted that, and I didn't text her back. I remember calling Lou like, I'm about to lose it. I'm done. I don't want to be married because I'm done with these girls. Like, I'm okay with, what did I say? Eloping. And he was trying to calm me down, and I was just like, what the heck? And he's like, well, just tell her, babe. Tell her that it hurt your feelings. And I'm like, why would I waste telling someone my feelings when they could care less? She's literally so rude. So I'm the type of person, my cutoff game is too strong. It's a bad thing about me, and it's also a good thing about me because you won't see it coming. And when it does, you won't know because you're gone. So I know that sounds really crazy and petty, and I'm working on that. I'm working on myself. So essentially she was still a bridesmaid at that point. I don't know how I kept it moving, but I kept my composure. I said, you know what? The next time she says something like this, she's out of the bridal party. So I was like, okay, cool, right? I thought everything was good. So another update comes up, and my maid of honor is saying like, hey, you guys have to have your dresses ordered by this date. This is happening in this. So this is we're still 10 months out. So, and something was in my spirit, and I remember talking to Lou, and I was like, I feel like I'm either going to kick Janet out my wedding or Janet's going to drop. Something's going on. Like, I could just feel it in my spirit. And literally, like clockwork, God allowed it to happen. She sent me a text that said, this is the only thing that it said, and this is verbatim. You can remove me from the bridal party. That was it. No, hey Veronica, I need to talk to you. This is going on. I know you tried to help me. You tried to make it work. It's just not working, and I thought I could do it. I'm sorry to do this to you. She just sent me that text, and I didn't shed one tear. Nothing. I'm going to be honest. The next thing I did was I smiled, and I'm not sure if it was one of those creepy smiles where it's like stretched out, or if it was a smile like happiness. I don't know what it was, but I remember smiling, and then I immediately, the first person I texted was Lewis, and I screenshotted it and I sent it to her, and he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? And I said, I'm fine, I'm great. Sent it to my sister because obviously she knew the issues going on with her, and I think I sent it to my maid of honor, and everyone was like, good riddance, because she was the worst bridesmaid ever. And then I had to remove her out of our group text, and everyone has iPhones because I am team iPhones. And obviously when you remove someone from the conversation, it says, Veronica has removed this person from the conversation. So I hit that first, and it was like silence. Because normally the group text will go like bing, bing, bing. And then I said, hey guys, essentially I had to remove her. She sent me this text. That's all I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to discuss it any further. That's pretty much what I sent. And that's what happened. So at that point, she was removed, and I also removed her from my life. We haven't had any conversation since about it. If she tried to call me, her calls can't come through on my phone. I wasn't as petty to block her from social media, but she is not my friend on social media. So that's kind of how that happened, and how I lost a bridesmaid for my bridal party. And I want to bring around some key points because I don't want it to come off super negative and like super like this is the bridal party from hell when they're not. These girls are some amazing, strong women, and I love them to death. But sometimes you get some bad apples, and the apple looks so shiny on the outside, it looks juicy, and there's a sign that says, caution, do not touch, this is going to expire in a day. But yet you pick it up anyways because it's 50% off, and you're like, you know what, I really want to give this apple a chance to be great, because although it has some dings on the outside, it's still overall beautiful. And Janet was still overall beautiful, but she just had too many dings on the outside for me. And I wish her the best, and I pray that God gives her everything that she desires in her heart, but we are just not meant to be friends. And she has been this way for a while. I can't save everyone, and I'm not going to continuously invest and give so much to people without receiving anything back. Ever since then, that happened over 2 months ago. 2 months or a month? I think it's been 2 months. I feel great. Everyone else is getting along. Everyone was so happy when she left. There was like a series of like texts of like partying because she was just weighing down the group, and it just wasn't a good fit. So sometimes you are in a negative point in your life. Just to defend her, sometimes you're in a negative point in your life and you don't know what's going on. You're just lost. And because you're lost and you don't quite know who you are or what you want to be, sometimes that portrays from the inside onto the outside onto your friendships, and it puts heavy burdens onto people who may love you. So sometimes if you're in that space, sometimes you just got to find your own self. Sometimes you got to lose people to find yourself. That's my story on losing a bridesmaid. So I'm down one bridesmaid, so we still have a ton of people in our bridal party on both sides, but Luce and I are very happy. I'm actually getting excited now. It has been quite stressful, but I am starting to get more excited as the days go by. So we are in our 6-month window, so I will be filming like a separate update wedding video that goes into a little bit more detail than all about my bridal party. So yeah. So anyways, thank you guys so much for listening to me. Know that God has a plan for each and every one of you. There are many different seasons of your life, of our lives, and sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's not so positive. So it can happen to anyone. You could be Janet, or you could be me. So I don't want to put this video out there to discourage anyone or to talk bad about anyone again. I just want you guys to know that it happens and it's stressful. So be careful when you're planning stuff. But just remember, this is the time where you can be selfish about things that you really want. And it's your wedding, it's not anyone else's, and this is going to break me out of my people-pleasing habit, and I'm so excited for that. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Remember to stay positive. I love you guys, and I will catch you guys later. Bye!